Hello and welcome back to Mobility Matters. I'm your host, Javier Betancourt, Executive Director of the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust, or CITT. You can learn more about us on our website, miamidade.gov/CITT. We are broadcasting live out of the 2025 TPO Transportation Industry Forum here at the downtown Hilton in this beautiful studio space. They did a nice job. Thank you, TPO, and thank you to my team. So at the CITT, we work with multiple partners. You've seen them all on this program. There is no single partner more critical to what we do. No one we work with more closely than the county's Department of Transportation and Public Works. That's a mouthful, so we'll just call them DTPW moving forward. And no one more important to that organization than its leader. Now, she's been on the program before, but wearing a different hat at the time as District 6 Secretary to FDOT. But for the past 6 months, she has been Director and CEO, tell me if I got that right, of DTPW. Folks, welcome to the program, Stacy Miller. Stacy, welcome back.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here in my new role.
In your newish role, so 6 months in, right?
6 months in, it's been fantastic. I have such an amazing team, and we are really doing some exciting things at DTPW.
And the great thing, and I think I got quoted on this in the newspaper when you were first hired, is you come in knowing the community. You come in knowing all of the projects that the county is working on, because as FDOT District 6 Secretary, you were a critical partner in those projects, right?
I was. I can't say that I know the entire DTPW work plan. I'm going to admit that. But many of the major projects are collaborations between the county and the state. So I did have the opportunity to know about the projects and be engaged in those projects, at least from the state of Florida's perspective, and now get to be really immersed in them as the Director and CEO of DTPW.
In the nuts and bolts, right?
The nuts and bolts, all the nitty gritty, the minutia and all the detail. But it's been great because I still have a great working relationship with our partners, including you from my time at DOT and obviously the staff that I used to work with there. And
that is a critical partnership, right? I mean, first of all, so many of our roads and highways are obviously controlled, managed by FDOT, but then FDOT is also a critical funding partner in a lot of the county's projects, including transit, right?
They are. They've been a fantastic partner over the years. It's not just on the transit side of the house, which obviously is very important, but there are other programs that match 50-50, 75-25, et cetera, that help us not only maintain our transit systems, but also our road network. And of course, without the road network, our bus system doesn't have anywhere to run. Our bridges, they support us in our maintenance and I should say the replacement of our structures. So huge partnership, huge funding partnership, and just a great resource for information.
Yeah, and I believe the FDOT Secretary is going to be our keynote speaker here at this event, right?
He is.
He's fantastic. So, Stacy, let's go back to your day-to-day at DTPW. So you have the Public Works shop, which is really kind of more roadway-oriented and bridges. And then you have transit, which is a whole different animal, and there's the operational issues on top of the infrastructure.
Yes.
But there are some early wins in your 6 months here. So you just rolled something out that's been a long time coming, and we're really excited about it. Tell us about Metro Express.
So literally and figuratively, we have rolled out our first smart corridor, the Metro Express, which is the transition of the busway into the transitway, 20-mile, fully electric service that takes you from 344th all the way to Dadeland South. It is the first of its kind in the country. It is a rail-like experience with gate arms at the intersections. We have priority and preemption for our buses as they approach the signals, so the gate arms come down and the buses roll right through. We have 14 beautiful air-conditioned vestibules.
Yeah, even Metro Rail is an air-conditioned, right?
It is not. So we've really thought of our patrons and our users, kept them in mind as we developed this. So we have these new iconic stations. We have some beautiful art in public places. The platforms are expandable in case we increase, well, I shouldn't say in case, when we increase our ridership, we can expand them. And ultimately, obviously, the goal is when we get enough density to be able to transition from our bus rapid transit program to perhaps a rail program in the future. But it's very exciting. We're on day 3. We started our service Monday morning. We actually had to add a few extra buses. We had a kind of a crush of patrons first thing in the morning. We didn't realize
That's
how many
good.
patrons
People are
that
excited.
happened. They are excited. So we are still optimizing and we'll be tweaking part of this process over the next 60 to 90 days. We continue to have staff on site, making sure that any of the glitches we run into, that we're working them out as quickly as possible. But we're asking the community to bear with us as we work through this optimization. And we realize that it wasn't as smooth as some people would have liked, but we're very satisfied with our rollout and believe that we're just going to make incremental and major improvements along the way and continue to grow our ridership.
Well, as someone who's already tried it, I think it's amazing. You're going to get to where you're going faster. And, you know, it's pleasant. They're beautiful buses. To call them buses is almost, you know, not giving it enough credit. They're super quiet because they're electric. They have Wi-Fi. You could do work. You can go on YouTube. You can read a book.
You can watch a podcast.
Why not do it, right? I think it's harder to come up with reasons why someone shouldn't use the system.
So on top of the fact that we have these new, beautiful, iconic stations, we do have 60-foot articulated, fully electric buses. They have Wi-Fi, as do our stations. But there's also charge points at every seat on the bus. So if you are watching a podcast, make sure you can plug in so that you don't lose your charge along the way. But again, the stations, the system, the buses, it was all with our users in mind. Our existing fleet has bike racks on the front of our buses. Our new buses, the buses that are BRT buses, actually have the bike racks inside.
Just like a train.
Just like the train. So it's a very different experience, but it's a very pleasant experience. It is quiet. Our goal is to move that through that 20 miles in about an hour.
Okay. And as you know, we're working collaboratively with other partners to ensure that the word gets out about the system.
Yes.
So, let's talk about the roles that the nonprofit and private sector play in ensuring that corridor's success.
So we've actually, in advance of the project rollout, we did a lot of tours with our local partners, with CITT, in fact, but all the business community along the corridor, all of the government communities that we engaged with, just to make sure they understood what the system was all about, what our goals were, and how we could coordinate efforts with what they were doing and making sure that their patrons and our patrons and residents were able to coordinate between their services and our services. But it's very important. We're working with businesses to make sure that businesses use our reduced fare cards, excuse me, to help their employees be able to use the system, as well as making sure that the businesses promote the system, not just use the fare card reduction process, but promote the system. And we also are looking at transit-oriented development along the way. We've already opened one transit-oriented development, which is basically us building housing along the corridor that have direct connections to the transitway. So not only is it providing a much-needed benefit to the community in a housing, but it's also hopefully providing really a great opportunity for us to engage with new patrons for our services.
So later on in the conference, I am moderating a panel that you are going to be a panelist on, and we're talking about first last mile connectivities, which is an extremely important part of the larger transportation network, right? So we have the corridors, which are like kind of the spines, if you will. But then we have to connect those corridors, that spine, to the rest of the body, to the neighborhoods, through first last mile connectivity. So what are some of the ways in which we're going to do that? And we could use the South probably as an example. What can municipalities do? What can businesses do? What is the county going to be doing to ensure that people can get to and from those stations?
So not just on the South Corridor, which we're very excited about, but obviously it's important that we work with our municipalities to encourage the services that they provide, either with their trolley services or freebie services or circuit services, in making sure that we're connecting those services to that spine, which is Miami-Dade County Transit, whether it's bus service, rail service, or Metro Mover service. Just making sure that we've coordinated those efforts, and I know that's something that CITT is very interested in, as is the county. That's one element. Another element is obviously we were fortunate to be able to continue to have Metro Connect service, which is basically a curb-to-curb service for us in areas that have lower transit opportunities. But our goal is to bring you to one of those spines, to bring you to a major bus service, Metro Rail or the Metro Mover. It's also making sure that all of our sidewalks are existing and in great condition, and working with our municipal partners when it's their roadways that are connecting to our system. And we continue to try to build out our bus network, our bike network. And our bike network is a little more difficult than our pedestrian network. But that includes things like the Ludlam Trail, which we're working with pros on, or continuing to work on the Underline, which is a fantastic asset as well. So it's a number of different opportunities that we're taking advantage of, but it's a collaboration. It's working with the state, it's working with our municipal partners, and making sure that businesses are also being supported. So with several along the South Corridor, with several of those larger businesses, we talked about having them perhaps provide shuttle services from our transit stations, which would be a fantastic opportunity so that their employees coming off of our iconic stations perhaps will have a shuttle instead of a walk to their businesses.
Okay, and so we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about the SMART program, but just generally speaking, the department is still committed to moving that program forward?
We are. We continue to work through a number of the corridors. Obviously, not all of them are being managed by DTPW directly. The Florida Department of Transportation is managing a few of them on our behalf. We continue to collaborate on those, and we can continue to collaborate with the partners that are necessary depending on the particular corridor, right? It depends on the corridor as to who we're working with. But yes, we're still progressing all of them.
Well, Director Miller, that's all the time we have, and we both want to catch, I think, the Secretary speak in a little bit. So we're going to bring this to an end. Thank you for appearing kind of impromptu on the program. I appreciate it.
Of course.
You wouldn't know because you did perfectly. And thank you for everything you do. I know it's not an easy job. It's probably the most difficult one at the county, quite honestly, but you do it well and with grace. So thank you.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Folks, that's all the time we have here on this segment of Mobility Matters. We invite you to learn more about the CITT and perhaps check out some previous podcasts by visiting our website, miamidade.gov/CITT. So until the next program, keep moving, Miami.